Welcome, everyone, to Intensity Broadcasting for tonight's coverage of the Rowan Maurer 210. We've got the trucks here at Texas Motor Speedway. We are 33 laps into this race. I do want to apologize. We had some technical difficulties with the stream. It was disconnecting, but we've got it reconnected, and we are here to bring you the racing action here from lap 34 on. I'm Matt Louise here in the broadcast booth, and joining me tonight to call the action is Marcus Babb and Rowan Maurer. We've had a very exciting race so far. We've had a lot of battles for the lead, but so far it's Christopher Barker leading the way in truck number 46. I mean, guys, what have you thought about this race so far?
It's been pretty cool.
Pretty cool. I have to agree with our star of the show here, but it's technical difficulties happen, and we're gonna look past it. And these drivers got the stuff knocked off of them, got the jitters out of them with those first two cautions, like you had mentioned. It has been a while since I had announced. I'm still jittery and nervous over here, but got my jitters cleaned up for the most part, and we're back. So
yeah, as we look to the racing action out onto the track, Christopher Barker is your race leader. He's got a 1 second lead right now over Steven Shue. It's Matthew Gall in the third place spot, Miles Williams in fourth, and then rounding out your top five, it's Trent Hill right behind him. We've got a side-by-side battle for sixth between Wes Wigan and Brian Hennings right now. Hennings has got a ton of momentum on that outside, and he is able to get clear of the 88. But again, do want to re-thank all of the sponsors here for the race tonight. James Wagoner's Welding, you see the logo on the top right of your screen. Give him a call for a quote for any welding services at 336-670-3427. You also see the Venmo on the top right of your screen. All money donated to this Venmo is going to go directly to Rowan and his family. Your donation of any amount is going to make a real difference. So for everyone who's made a donation so far tonight, definitely got to give a big thank you for all of your generosity. But yeah, any amount would help. So just scan that QR code, the Venmo on your screen, and it will direct you to a donation page. And then, of course, you see MAG Real Estate out of San Antonio, Texas. You can visit their website at magrealestatetx.com today to browse their listings, schedule a showing, or simply learn more about how they can help you achieve your real estate goals. Without all of them, this race would not be possible. So thank you to, of course, James Wagoner's Welding and MAG Real Estate. But we look out through the field. Drivers are getting pretty spread out as we continue to run on
that was perfectly timed.
the stint. And we do have a caution.
we got a yellow.
And I think this was
I
kind
was going to say a couple of guys pitted already.
And this was going to be kind of the point where I was kind of assuming after 40 laps that we would maybe start to see drivers start to dip off. And luckily, some drivers got...
I have no idea what happened.
It looks like Ryan Gillette, he got caught on pit road. He pit right as the caution came out. So let me try to pull up the replay here and see what happened. We are watching Adam Flieger running about in the middle of the track, heading off of turn number 4. And looks like he's coming down the racetrack right in front of Dave Collins Sr. He just slips across his nose, sending him around. And that'll definitely hurt his race. He falls down to the 17th place position. And here comes the leaders, all of them down onto pit road. It's going to be a pit party.
Pit party, I like that.
After 40 laps, a couple guys taking tires early on with the cautions that happen. We're in that pit window now. I believe so anyhow. We're in that pit window where guys are going to want to come down. They're going to want to get their tires. They're going to want to grab their fuel and get ready to go back at it again here.
Yeah, these drivers are going to be 4 tires and fancy as they head off of pit road. Christopher Barker, who came onto pit road in first, he will win the race off of pit road. Then it's Stephen Shu, Matthew Gall, Miles Williams, Wes Wygan, Brian Hennings, Trent Hill. They are all heading off of pit road. There you see Ryan Gillette, Brandon Murphy, and Teresa Speecher, all of them exiting the pits. You see, got somebody in the chat. Woohoo, go 78. Matthew Gall had a great pit stop, remaining in that 3rd place spot. So, saw some good pit stops. And now we are going to do some pacing before we head back to the restart. But I know we've got this race going on tonight. Rowan, are you a NASCAR fan?
Yeah. I mean, I've never really gotten into it. My parents aren't really into it, but I enjoy really all sports, especially motorsports.
Do you have any favorite motorsports drivers?
No, I just like watching NASCAR.
And I would, yeah, for sure. I mean, sometimes just watching the sport is just as fun as cheering somebody on. So, I mean, NASCAR, it sucks you in. Have you watched any of the... Did you watch any races this season? Like, did you have a favorite race this season for NASCAR?
No, I've been pretty busy with school and everything, but I've heard some good things.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely a great season, saw a lot of close finishes, so I'm glad you were able to hop in here tonight and watch some NASCAR truck racing with us, some of the most unique vehicles on the NASCAR circuit, because, I mean, obviously, these are trucks. These are big vehicles based off on, you know, heavy-duty trucks that you see on the road, your Tundras, your Silverados, your F-150s. That's what these trucks are based off of. They carry heavy loads out on the roads, and here on the track, they carry motors with over 600 horsepower, so they always are fun to watch. But so far, Christopher Baker looks like he has had things figured out. He has dominated this race so far, did well on pit road, and he's looking to try to continue to hang on to this lead. But I mean, everybody's kind of on an even playing field now. Everybody's come in, gotten fresh tires. There's not really any differing strategies right now. So it's just like we're restarting again for the first time like we did on our initial restart.
Yeah, now that the playing field has been a little more evened out, a little more level with those fresh tires, guys have got their nerves worked out. They've got a feel for the track, got a feel for what it's doing. They know what the tires are going to do when they're cold. Hopefully here off of this restart, we can get ourselves into one of those decent green flag runs that we're looking for. I know that last green flag run, your leader right now, Chris Barker, he was able to get a little bit of a breakaway, and that spread out the top 5 or 6 with a couple tenths, you know, a second maybe in there between those top 5. And we're going to see that again as these guys get ready to go at it. And with those fresh tires, it's going to take a little bit to get them warmed up, you know, get the tires gripping where they should. But as we've seen there before that last caution, once that happens, the field is going to start to spread out. And we'll maybe see if maybe Shu in that 85 truck has anything for Barker.
Yeah, I mean, he showed some good speed all race long. He stuck with them on the previous restart, the last restart that we saw. I know it wasn't live, but we saw him stick right to the back bumper of that 46, push him all the way through turns 1 and 2. And Shu, he's shown a ton of speed. He just needs to try to take advantage of it. And watch out for Matthew Gall in that 78. He quickly worked his way up through the field during that green flag run. He's gotten right on the back bumper of your first place driver, car number 78. I know we got a lot of people cheering from him. He's going to try to see what he can do, but not the restart that he wanted, not the restart that Shu wanted. Christopher Barker quickly able to jump clear over the field as they head into 1 and 2. We see Shu tucks in line into that second place spot. Gall trying to get by Miles Williams on the third place spot. He is able to do so, although he pushes way up the corner, almost hitting the outside wall. He's now sucked up right to the back bumper of the 85. Looking low off of turn number 4, but good restart for Christopher Barker. He's trying to extend that gap once again.
it is all business for him today. The top 5, all single file, getting it sorted out pretty easy. I don't see a battle happening on the track through the top 5, maybe even the top 10 as a battle now for 4th is ensuing.
Yeah, we were almost 3 wide there. It was Wes Wygan looking underneath Matthew Gall. And then we see Miles Williams, who was tucked in right behind him. He looks low, so he is able to use that fresh rubber that he put on that last pit stop to his advantage. He gets by Matthew Gall and jumps up to that 3rd place position, so that'll knock Matt Mann down to 4th. Then we see Wes Wygan in the 88. He's trying to get by Brian Hennings for that 5th place spot. Matthew Gall and Miles Williams, they're continuing to swap places. Really close battle, and look who's joining the fray. That is Trent Hill in the 47. He is joining this party as well. We see Brandon Murphy is also right there from 3rd all the way to 8th. The field is very tight, although we do see Miles Williams and Matthew Gall looking kind of like the tandem drafts that we used to see with the old COT cars in the Cup Series. They're getting away from that pack.
The tandem draft, there's a term I haven't heard in a really long time. It's interesting to see it on an intermediate track like this, as Wygan now sealed that spot that he was fighting for with the 80, or Hill seals the spot with the 88, and now the 12's looking inside. That's Murphy looking to take the spot from Wygan.
Brandon Murphy in the number 12 Ford Performance Machine trying to get Wygan off the corner. He is able to get clear over him on the backstretch, and he will jump to that 7th place spot as they take it through turns 3 and 4. So the 12 continuing to make some moves. He is trying to get through this top 5, trying to close in on Trent Hill and Brian Hennings. But we look back closer up through the field. Miles Williams is starting to close in on Steven Shue for this 2nd place spot. Last time by, he was about 2/10 faster than car 85. So we just got to continue to try to build up a run. We will continue to keep an eye on that 17, who had a great restart and has had some good short run speed. The key is just trying to see who will continue to last and have good long run speed.
Yeah, I just wanted to take a step back further right behind that action that's happening in and around that 6th and 7th place position. I'm looking at the truck in 10th right now, the 35 of Casey Ellis. He is not showing a qualifying time. Started in the back in the 23rd position, and he has kept that thing clean and neat up in the 10th place now.
Hey, I mean, sometimes that's the name of the game, is just staying out of the mess, being careful, being patient, and sometimes you just got to be patiently aggressive and slow is fast, and that's kind of been the name of the game here for Casey Ellis. Done a great job, gotten all the way up, like you said, to that 10th place spot, and looking to get more, trying to close in on Teresa Speecher, who is currently hanging on in that 9th place position. But Christopher Barker, as we have just gotten past lap number 50, he continues to lead the way over Steven Shue. We see Miles Williams there, Matthew Gall in 4th. Brian Hennings rounds out your top 5. We've gotten a chance to get some good laps in. I mean, what have you thought now, Rowan?
Well, I can't currently see it, but from what I have seen and what I'm hearing and looking at from the other monitor, it looks pretty tight, pretty good.
Yeah, some tight racing we're seeing right now at Texas. And I'm at Luis here in the booth. We got Marcus Babb and Rowan Maurer with us here calling the race at Texas. We've got a battle for 2nd beginning to brew. Here comes Matthew Gall with a full head of steam into turns 3 and 4. He is trying to get by Steven Shue. Miles Williams right there in the 17 as well. Gall and Williams have been duking it out since the restart. They're pretty close in times. Both of them trying to stay up in this top 5, and we continue to watch this run. 14 laps on the tires now, so these drivers may be starting to feel the effects of the tire wear. It may start to get a little bit sketchy, so they'll just have to continue to be mindful about saving those tires and not burning them up too quickly.
Yeah, you always want to talk about saving tires and saving fuel at these intermediate tracks. Your pit window doesn't exactly line up the way you need it to, and also the number of cautions that you have are going to come into play there. I remember back, quite a few years ago now, you'd hear guys on caution laps towards the end of the race, they'd be cutting their engines off to save fuel. Now, unfortunately, you can't cut your tires off to save tire wear, but it's certainly going to be something. If we do get a long green flag run with a late caution, we might see some of those guys try to push the envelope.
Yeah, people get tired of people saying on the broadcast, save the tires, save the tires, save the tires. But for these drivers, I mean, that's all that they're thinking about when they're watching what lap times they're turning, when they're watching how their truck is handling. I mean, they are constantly thinking about what are those tires doing, and Texas can be pretty abrasive. It can quickly wear on those tires. So you just got to be really careful to not burn them up too quickly. But top four has done a good job so far, keeping it close. We watch Miles Williams try to look underneath Matthew Gall for that third place position. Continues to look low off the corner, carry that run down the straightaway. That Coca-Cola machine has done very well since the restart. Kept it in the top 5, but trying to have enough speed to try to make it by Matthew Gall. And he's kind of looking to see what Matt is doing right now, where he's entering the corner, how he's exiting the corner, maybe looking to see, where it looks like that car is starting to hunker down when he's getting out of the gas or getting into the brakes. Maybe you're seeing it backfire a little bit. There's a lot of things that Williams is looking at and trying to pick up on, and he's going to try to use that to his advantage to try to make it by Matt.
Yeah, things are fairly close up there in that top 5. However, an early contender here, Wes Wigan, is now about a second and a half back behind Trent Hill. They're running 6th, and then there's a pretty significant gap back to 7th place. You're going to be around 3.5, maybe 4 seconds. Looks like maybe a back marker is running a back marker lap truck down there on the inside, as Wigan kind of splits both of those back markers. That was kind of a neat little move.
Yeah, we've seen some lap traffic. That's Ren Hasp in the 38. We saw him get involved in an incident on lap number 1 and has not really been able to recover. So he is now down 1 lap, and you also see Daniel Worthington may be at risk of going down a lap soon as well. But we could see some more drivers fall down a lap as we continue to go through this green flag run. And it also depends on how quick Christopher Barker's pace is right now. He continues to occupy that first place spot where he has been for practically the entire race. He's got a 5/10 lead over Stephen Shu right now. And the top 5 is starting to get spread out, but you were talking about that battle with Trent Hill and Brian Hennings. That's for position number 5. We see Hill continuing to try to stay ahead. Looks like he went low down there on the corner. Maybe saw some kind of handling issue, but he will continue to stay in front. And looks like there's the 12. That Ford Performance machine making his way up through the field.
Right now I'm
Almost.
watching through a single cockpit, and it looks pretty tight.
Oh, yeah. I mean, watching some of the closer battles, these guys are bumper to bumper. And that's actually a good point. Let's take a look at that really quickly. Maybe not at a battle, but let's just kind of watch the quickest guy out there on the track right now, Christopher Barker, what a lap looks like from his perspective. We're in the cockpit view, and we see he's kind of running. Yeah, he gets right down onto that yellow line, gasses it up, carries it off the corner right to that outside wall. It comes up on you quick. Looks like he corrects it a little bit to make sure he does not slam it. And again, just big arc, getting all the way to that yellow line and back out onto the tri-oval. So Barker's kind of running that line that you expect to see run on an oval track, on the bottom through the corners, out on the wall, on the straightaways. The middle or the top lane really has not come in yet. So I don't know if as these tires continue to wear, if it will be possible, or maybe as the tires continue to wear, it'll completely eliminate it, and it'll only be possible for somebody to make it work up there. if they have fresher tires. I don't know, but look at this lap car. That is Brandon Murphy. He is down multiple laps, but he has quickly gotten up through the field. He pit on lap number 56. He's 2 laps down now, so he's about to go 1 lap down. But he pit on lap number 56, and we are really seeing the difference between new tires and old tires. He's able to fly by the leader, Christopher Barker, who has been practically untouchable all race long. So maybe Brandon Murphy is hoping that this strategy can work out for him. I don't know if that pit stop was planned, but now he's only down 1 lap, and he's hoping to continue to try to get some laps back with these fresh tires.
That's impressive out of the 12 machine. And I don't think I've ever seen anybody drive around the leader in a green flag situation to get a lap back. That's impressive.
Yeah, Brandon Murphy is showing very quick pace right now. Looking at the lap times, he's about 1 second faster than the lap times that Christopher Barker is turning. And as for fall off, right now the lap times have fallen off about 2 seconds over this green flag run. So the car is probably going to tighten up a little bit. It's going to cause drivers to push up. They're going to have to wait to get into the gas a little bit later. So we'll continue to watch as these tires continue to wear. We see Daniel Worthington win a lap down. Some drivers having to navigate him. But lap traffic not becoming too much of an issue as we continue to look throughout the field. We got a battle for the top 5. Trent Hill and Wes Wygand. Wygand got by Brian Hennings a few laps earlier. Now he is closing in on Trent Hill in that number 47 machine. It's definitely been really neat to finally see a green flag run. No interruptions from cautions. And hopefully we can continue to see this because, I mean, obviously, cautions and action with that, it can be exciting. But sometimes just a nice long green flag run, watching the tires evolve can be just as entertaining.
I really like these green flag runs. You know, it really gets into a driver's head when they constantly have to say, okay, restart.
Caution.
Hit my marks. Don't. Yellow.
I jinxed it. Announcer's jinx. My goodness. We got a caution flag out just as we saw some people heading into the pits again. It's just happening at such a wrong time. And so we're watching Ryan Gillette. Here he is. And looks like the 43 of Wade Palmer, the 4th, just pushes up the racetrack as he gasses it up. Ooh, that is a hard hit. He flips. The 43 of Wade Palmer flips onto his roof multiple times. We see Gillette slips down onto pit road. He goes through the grass. That was a nasty wreck that we just saw right there. I mean, it's not every day you see a flip. So, especially on a 1.5 miles, you know, obviously at super speedways, there's high speeds. You can see that sometimes, but that was pretty crazy to see a flip happen.
Yeah, the aerodynamic packages, the way things happen. I mean, that truck just took off right. And when you have a hard head-on impact with the wall like that, you know, even though we are talking in a sim, your vision being in that cockpit is enough just to rattle your cage, for lack of a better term. But, you know, 1.5 mile tracks, intermediate tracks like this, like you said, you don't see a whole lot of those flips, but man, that was wicked.
So yeah, it'll definitely take some time to shake that off because that was certainly crazy to see. But we've got some drivers on pit road right now getting some tires. And we've got a close race. It's going to be Christopher Barker winning the race off of pit road. Matthew Gall jumps up to 2nd. Steven Shue 3rd. Miles Williams 4th. And it's Wes Wygand 5th. Brian Henning 6th. Trent Hill 7th. Teresa Speecher 8th. Casey Ellis 9th. And Dakota Shepard 10th. So I'm sure these drivers probably, their cars didn't feel very nice as they continued to wear. It was probably getting tight or was maybe getting loose depending on how they were driving the car, what tire was getting burned up the most. So these drivers are like, yes, finally, some new tires. The handling is going to be very, very nice now. The truck is going to be the fastest it's been in a while. So this restart is going to be wild. But again, one thing I do want to note is that we did have a 50-50 raffle tonight where we saw some drivers win some big prizes. Marcus, you have a little bit more information on that.
Yeah, we have some drivers here. They get a lot of neat little kickbacks when leagues do this kind of thing. Some of it's physical, Sparco, equipment, some of the better known companies in racing, and sometimes they get their entry fee back, or they might get iRacing credits, to kind of help them out, just completely at random. It's a neat little thing. One of the guys tonight actually got his $20 entry fee return is Jack Stanley in the 95.
Yeah, I mean, he's currently running that 13th place spot. Let's pull him in and talk to him. Hey, Jack, this is Atlee, Marcus, and Rowan in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
10-4, I got a copy.
Awesome. Well, we want to talk to you because you were one of the winners of the raffle. You got the $20 entry fee return. I mean, first of all, congratulations with that. And second of all, how's your race been going so far?
It's pretty solid, even though I got caught up in the wreck. I was the innocent bystander of it. But honestly, the goal is just to have fun. Obviously, we're doing this for Rowan, for a good cause. And I think just the goal is just to have a top 15. If I could at least get a top 10, that would be better, but I'm content either way.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah,
oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say top 10s, top 15s. I mean, it all goes on your record as doing fairly well. Those rough situations, those victim of circumstance, things that you get into, how does that affect you mentally, knowing that you were trying to do good and then somebody else came along and kind of got in your way?
That's a good question. I don't know how to properly describe that, but I guess it's basically just I don't know. I can't talk.
Still seem a little rattled from it. No, hey, you're good.
Yeah.
Still seem a little bit rattled. Still maybe picking up the pieces a little bit, but
yeah.
you're doing okay out there considering all. And like you said, it is for a good cause. So.
Well, I see you're getting doubled up, Jack. Best of luck here on this next restart.
Thank you, guys.
There you go. That was Jack Stanley. He was one of your raffle winners here tonight, getting a $20 entry fee return. And he's hoping to, like he said, goal was a top 15. He's currently in 14th, so he is there. Just got to continue to work to keep up that goal and maintain that position. But we are coming to the restart. Pace truck is pulling in. We've got Christopher Barker on the bottom, Matthew Gall on the top. Then it's Steven Chu, Miles Williams, West Wigan. Kick the tires, light the fires. We are back under green. That's Christopher Barker into 1 and 2. He's able to get clear of Steven Chu. There's Matthew Gall tucking in line into that third place position. Did not have the restart that he wanted on the outside.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no! Matthew Gall into the outside wall. Caution flag is in the air. Matthew Gall was having such a good run, running up in the top 5, and he just got it in the wall. Let me take a look at the replay. Oh, I was in the wrong broadcast booth. I apologize,
Whoops.
but I know you saw that, Marcus.
I did. Just looking at it coming off of turn 2, these cold tires again. We've been talking about it all night. The 78 looks like he got loose, and that was out of the third place. So trouble up front for some of these drivers, and it just collected a whole slew of trucks. It was, on the backstretch. We're gonna take a look at it, maybe get a replay going for the fans watching, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, where we're streaming, and get a second look at it and maybe an opinion, of if it was cold tires or what it was. I mean, it just looks like he just
Yeah, he just
got
lost it
loose.
off the
It
corner.
happens.
I mean, nobody touched him. That's just looked like as he gassed it up, just came out from underneath him and just was not able to save it. I do apologize for some of the language. I accidentally joined the general chat where Matt Goal was, and he was certainly. I was able to hear what was going through his head right as it was happening, and he said some "oh shoots," and that's definitely what it looked like.
Yeah, I can hear that from my end too.
Yeah, I know, Rowan, you were there right where Matt is racing. You've been able to. Are you able to see his screen and what he's got going on?
His screen is on the far end of the room. He's right next to me. He just can't really hear me. He's in his VR headset right now.
I got you. I mean, those sim rigs, those iRacing rigs are really cool. I know you like to play video games, Minecraft and Fortnite, but I mean, what do you think of iRacing? It's a pretty cool game.
I like it. I've tried it once, and it's too realistic for me. I can go slow, but then once I surpass 20, I just start drifting around.
I mean, I totally understand. The first time I ever tried one of those iRacing simulators at the NASCAR Hall of Fame, it was overwhelming. I was the same way. Just couldn't get over 20. It was sliding around. It is so realistic, and I know I was talking to you earlier, Marcus, and you said, you hadn't really done much with the announcing side in, 9 or 10 years, and the game has changed so much. iRacing has made so many improvements to the physics, to the damage model, to the graphics. I mean, I know I've been a member since 2020. Marcus, you've been a member a lot longer than me. I mean, how cool is it to just see how iRacing evolved and how they've made big improvements to their game?
It's surreal. I mean, I was a member of iRacing back in the early 2010s. Back when NVIDIA GTX 980s were out, or whatever their number was. We weren't even into the 4-digit graphics cards back then. But they've redone so much. They've had tire package updates. They've had track map updates. I mean, dynamic tracks and changing with rubber building in and grooves coming in was all in the near future. When I had gotten out of it in 2014, dirt tracks were a big talk back then, but it wasn't, brought to fruition yet. It wasn't here. There were talks about it. They were talking about damage models and getting different damage models going here and there, and the damage just wasn't there. And I come back here a couple months ago, and I mean, it's just mind blowing. I mean, now we got dirt tracks with grooves coming in, dynamic courses. We got a rain model now. The tire packages have come a long way. The damage models. I mean, I'm playing around at home, and I'm watching tires fly off of cars. Like, I have never seen that before in iRacing. So it's constantly evolving, constantly changing, and it seems like it's only going in a direction that's making it better and better and better and better. It's really cool to see.
Yeah.
The graphics obviously aren't real, but it looks like I'm watching a real race on TV.
Yeah, I mean, I remember one time when, I mean, I would 100% agree with that. I remember one time when iRacing did their Pro Invitational Series during COVID. It was broadcasting on TV with the iRacing streams. I had somebody come up to me and say, I thought they were actually racing, and I was so confused. I'm like, how are they able to be doing that during COVID? But it turns out it was a video game. They were so confused by how realistic that it looked that they thought it was the real thing. So that just goes to show how awesome iRacing is with their graphics, how realistic it looks. And I know that they are going to continue to make big changes to continue to improve it. I know, like you said, Marcus, they added the Tempest weather, dynamic track changes. They've added dirt. They've got dirt road courses, like rallycross stuff. I mean, they just continue to add.
Fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's wild. I mean, they continue to add great things, and I know they're going to have another update coming up very, very soon, adding more road course stuff I've seen on social media. So we're going to get to enjoy Two of iRacing's most fun additions, Texas Motor Speedway trucks here on this restart. Green flag is back and in the air. There goes Christopher Barker taking off. We've got Miles Williams and Steven Shue battling out for second. There is Miles Williams making it by the 85, so he is now trying to get up to Christopher Barker, trying to use those fresh tires to his advantage while he can. Can he be the first person to knock Christopher Barker out of the race lead? He's continuing to narrow that gap as they head down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. That Coca-Cola machine has a big head of steam coming out onto the tri-oval.
Cross the stripe 1 lap after the
Ooh,
restart.
caution.
Here we are working lap 80 as a caution comes out.
Man, when something exciting is going on, poof, caution flag comes out. And man, looks like it was Brandon Murphy who we saw was running so well with those fresh tires. He was able to pass the leader after being 2 laps down. Oh, and looks like this may actually happen a little bit further ahead of him. That is Clayton Doughty. And, ooh, he clips the apron, and that gets them all out of sorts. He pushes up the racetrack, and there you see the rear end start to step out. It's going around, and there's no saving it after that. Clayton just heads through the grass there. And there's that Minecraft machine slipping and sliding. I thought the tire was going to maybe lift up there and catch and blow over, but it did not. Stays on the ground, so that was unfortunate there for Clayton, the 42. We see Brandon Murphy is down on pit road. He's got some damage on that 12 car. Looks like that is the right front, is the fender is completely missing. But
So what lap are we in right now?
we are on lap number 81 of 140, so we've got 59 laps to go.
Cool.
Just a little tick over halfway, and I seen something interesting here as everybody was kind of getting gathered up and slowing down for that caution. Something that we talked about, this being iRacing, about being a simulator. Not everything is 100%. The field actually came to a stop on the front stretch. They had to wait on that Chevy Silverado pace truck to catch up, and maybe the pace truck driver there, thinking everything was cool, he went for a coffee outside at the hot dog booth or something. But the whole field just came to a stop on the front stretch there, and I was about ready to say something, then I realized what was happening. So not 100%. But it still makes for some awesome racing, and maybe I jinxed the 12 there earlier when I had said that I've never seen anybody drive past a leader under green flag conditions. Maybe that was partly my fault. I'm sorry if it was, but.
And bad news for the Matt Gall fans. Looks like he just disconnected. Like, he is not on the track right now, so I don't know if there was issues with him, but he is not on the track at the moment. I know he was running up in the top 5 earlier in this race, so not sure what's going on there, but Christopher Barker continues to lead just as he has for majority of this race, but Miles Williams was making a great case for that race lead. We were covering that right when the caution flag came out. I'm sure he's like, dang it, I was so close. So now he'll have another opportunity on this next restart, just as we have gotten past the halfway point of this one. The Grinch machine trying to make it to victory lane, and he is from North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, where the NASCAR track is. Of course, it hosted its second All-Star race, NASCAR All-Star race this year, and also hosts cars, late model stock car events. Really neat track, so I'm sure that's pretty cool to grow up right by North Wilkesboro, or be from right by North Wilkesboro. So that's cool there for Christopher Baker. Looks like somebody getting their lap back. That was Ren Hasp, or another Monster Energy car. So currently we do have 17 cars on the lead lap, so that's 17 cars still in contention for this one. There's Casey Ellis on pit road. We talked about him a little bit earlier as he was having a good run. Looks like he is just sitting on pit road getting some damage fixed.
Yeah, he actually pitted out of the 5th position. I was gonna make a comment to it when we went back to green, but now that he's on pit road, you know, we can still talk about him. A good guy. I've known him for a lot of years, and you know, he's just one of those laid back drivers. You know, we talked about it before when he was running 10th. It's kind of taking your time, you know, making your way through the field, maybe by some shortfalls of other guys, maybe by, you know, skill a little bit. But he is definitely one of the most humble guys out there. He says it was all luck and no skill. But he certainly has skill to be keeping the truck underneath him and being able to work up into that 10th spot around the cautions and stuff as we get ready to possibly go back green here, double file off of 4.
Yeah, here we go. Christopher Barker and Miles Williams make up your front row. Those two were having quite the battle as Williams was reeling him in before that caution flag came out. So we are on our 6th caution of the race, and we are getting set to go back green. There we go. Green flag is in the air, and there is Steven Shue with a heck of a restart there in that 3rd place position. He is able to jump to 2nd, gets by Miles Williams. That knocks Williams down to the 3rd place spot. Then it's Trent Hill, and there's a name that we haven't said much this race, Teresa Speecher, in that 5th place position in car number 70. It's a good run there, but we currently watch Christopher Barker having to deal with Steven Shue. Barker has been really good on the long run, so guys like Shue and Williams and Trent Hill see this opportunity with the fresh tires as the best way to try to get by this 46 machine.
Yeah, you said earlier these trucks are going to be fastest on fresh tires until they get some of that tire wore off and some of the rubber scrubbed up a bit. Then we'll start to see times fall off, as it looks like Trent Hill is all over the back bumper now of Williams.
Yeah, we see that there. He is within inches. I'm sure he's completely filled up the rearview mirror of that 17. I mean, he could almost bump him at this point, so what is he going to try to do? We see Williams being defensive, protecting that bottom, and he will clip the apron, pushes up a little bit. The 47 stays behind him. What is he going to do? Hill being very patient, waiting for the right opportunity to pounce, and there we go. He looks low through 3 and 4, utilizing that bottom. It's definitely seemed to be the way to go around this racetrack, and he will be able to slip. Yes, he slips in front of the 17 as they head into 1 and 2. So Trent Hill makes it up into the top 3 now, trying to track down Steven Shue for that 2nd place spot. And right now, Shue is keeping it very close with Christopher Barker. He is right there as they head into 3 and 4.
He's on the back door saying, knock, knock, I got a joke for you. It's going to be Barker and Shue, a little gap to Hill, back to Williams. And now Shue just kind of biding his time, taking it easy, not wanting to do anything erratic, not wanting to take any chances. Still, as we work lap 88, still a long ways to go here for these guys. And now Hill pulling back up. We might see ourselves a good battle here in a little bit.
Oh, yeah, 100%. You could throw a blanket over your top 3 right now as Barker, Shue, and Trent Hill are all there. It's just a matter of, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Positions will change here in the top 3, and don't count out Miles Williams. He will join the party as well in that 4th place position, making this a 4-horse race. All of them, of course, eyes on Christopher Barker. This is the best battle we have seen here, or the closest battle we've seen for the lead in quite some time, with Christopher Barker, Steven Shue, Trent Hill, Miles Williams, all there. Really close quarters racing. I'm sure they're hoping they can keep it clean and green and make some passes, but, I mean, anything could happen with this battle, especially when it's close quarters racing like this. So we'll continue to keep an eye on things. And also, with how quick they're running, still got to be careful with the tires. Looking at the lap count, I would expect to see, we will see one more pit stop, whether it's under green or under caution. I think these drivers will probably want to put on fresh tires one more time in this one. So that pit strategy is always in the back of their mind. Even if they're side by side with somebody, they're thinking about saving tires, they're thinking about saving fuel, they're thinking about when am I going to pit. You know, they're looking at those black boxes and everything.
Yeah, there are a couple different ways you could save tires. You have to kind of pick what works for you. Do you want to back up your entry into the corner a little bit? Do you want to roll the center a little bit? You kind of have to watch the guy in front of you if you plan on catching him to find out what he's doing and maybe do the opposite to make up some of that time that you're going to scrub off with those older tires.
And I mean, when I talk to all of these drivers, I say, you know, what was the key to saving tires for you here tonight? The answer I always hear is just trying to hold the wheel as straight as possible, because when you're turning that wheel hard, when you're really kind of fighting it, that's what's wearing those tires. So what these drivers are trying to do, like you said, trying those different methods, whether it's backing up the corner or just waiting to get in the gas a little bit, and waiting to get into the gas fully, like pretending there's an egg underneath the throttle. All of those different things are trying to help these drivers keep the wheel as straight as possible, just kind of make it one big straightaway. And so, of course, when there's a green flag run, there's no more tires to be saved. It's kind of elbows out, do whatever you can to get that race win. But at this point, when there's still tires to be saved, there's still a pit stop on the horizon. You definitely got to be careful with how much you're turning that wheel. We see your top three starting to pull away from Miles Williams in fourth a little bit. Stephen Shue and Trent Hill, I mean, they are inches away from each other. But still, it looks hard to pass. Setting something up could be difficult, although there goes Trent Hill underneath Shue down the backstretch.
He's going to look and stay on the inside through three. Now it looks like a little bit of a bobble, but he keeps it collected up, door to door down the front stretch, crossing the stripe. A good battle for second.
Yeah, Trent Hill, Stephen Shue, two of the fastest cars all race long, but it's Trent Hill with the preferred lane on that bottom. He should be able to get in front of that 85, although Stephen Shue is fighting back on the outside, and he maybe has a bit of a draft from Miles Williams. I don't know if that's playing any factor. Williams right behind them, just trying to see where he wants to be, and looks like he will stay on the bottom trying to follow behind Trent Hill, who has opened that door for him to get underneath the 85. So Hill is clear, and now Miles Williams trying to see what he can do. But the one person who loves to see this right now is Christopher Barker, because as they battle, that slows both of them down and allows him to get away.
Hello?
Yeah, the more door-to-door racing that you have behind you or in front of you is going to give you the advantage as a single truck. It has been that way on intermediate tracks for as long as I can remember anyhow. You had mentioned about, maybe tandem racing earlier in the race. Two of these guys were hooked up and they were making some ground. And but aside from making up ground when you're hooked up, you can also make up ground as a single truck when you see guys racing the way they are here in that second, third, fourth place.
Now, I did see, he's back in the broadcast booth. I heard you pop in here, Rowan. We are approaching only 40 laps to go in this race. Drivers, they have their win really close in their grasp. I mean, if you were one of those drivers up front, I mean, what would you be thinking right now?
Probably. Well, I don't know, because I've never driven. I would probably, the one time I did drive, I was exhilarated, so I would assume exhilaration would be something.
Yeah, I mean, exhilaration is definitely the word to use. I mean, when you're going, these drivers are hitting 190 miles per hour, and they're about to potentially get a big win here. I mean, exhilaration is on their mind, but I mean, nothing will be more exhilarating than, of course, when you finally get that race win, and Christopher Barker has certainly looked like the favorite to do that all throughout this one. I do want to shout out somebody in the chat. We got Kai Shappert. He said, "Thank you, Intensity, for filling in for us tonight. You guys are phenomenal. Highly recommend, if you're watching, to subscribe." Thank you so much for the kind words, Kai. Kai was originally supposed to be broadcasting this race, but he had some unforeseen circumstances happen and could not make it, so definitely appreciate the kind words, Kai. And yes, I mean, little bit of a self-plug, but if you enjoy what you see, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to Intensity Broadcasting on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. That would be greatly appreciated. We're trying to reach our follower goals. Check out our Twitter page, Intensity Broad 1, and we also have a web store where we offer all of our Intensity Broadcasting merchandise, and we also do custom printing. We can do it for your race team, your business, your event. We'd love to make shirts, hats, and other merchandise for you. And we got some green flag pit stops going on. There's Daniel Worthington making his way onto pit road, and you see it all the time in the Cup Series, and we've seen it. We haven't gotten to see it yet, but normally when one driver comes into the pits, many others soon follow.
Yeah, it's at that point now in the race where guys are saying, if we're going to be in a long green flag run, I'm going to go ahead, take my pit stop maybe a little early. If a caution would come out, I can maybe try to hold my own as the guys that waited to pit until that caution came out. It's always a battle at the end of these intermediate tracks where old tires versus new tires. We've seen new tires work here. We've also seen, track times fall off. So it's going to be interesting if these guys do end up having a late race caution. It's going to be interesting to see who is in this group now that's pitting, come in and maybe just grab right sides or something, just to have that little bit of an extra second or two saved from taking 4 tires, and maybe they can make something work.
Yeah, we're not at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, but there's surely a little bit of gambling going on when it comes to pit strategy. Like you said, you do have that in your disposal where you can just take right tires and try to use the track position.
So,
but Christopher Barker right now, we're kind of watching him. We're kind of watching Trent Hill, Miles Williams, just seeing what's going on. And right now, looking at Barker's lap times, he's fallen off probably about 1.5 seconds. So the car has definitely got to be feeling the effects of the tire wear right now. It's got to be feeling a little bit rough as he heads through the corner, might be pushing up a little bit, might be trying to break loose. Normally what I found with how I drive the car, especially on these 1.5 miles, it's normally the car gets tight as it wears, but depending on what, especially if you're driving off, a certain tire, it can break loose. But even with the field getting spread out, we still have battles for the track for very important positions, and we're seeing one now with Miles Williams and Steven Shue battling for this third place spot. Shue has been around in the top 3 all race long, had fallen to 4th, but here he is getting by Williams. They are side by side, door to door through 1 and 2. We got another driver heading down on Penn Road. There's one driver that's shown some speed today. He's been up in the top 5. That's Brian Hennings in the number 74 Spider-Man machine. We will see what he will do. What'll it be? There he is, slipping into that pit stall, and I don't know if this will maybe signal some other people to pit, but he is taking the right side tires. Will we see some lefts? Yeah. So 4 tires for Brian Hennings, and he's got Spider-Man on the car, or on the truck, but as soon as he heads out onto the track with those fresh tires, he's going to feel like Superman. He's going to be able to fly by through the field, and he should be able to quickly take his lap back.
Maybe in the likes of the 12 machine earlier, who got tied up, I believe, in a caution, driving around Barker here, and it looks like Hennings may have an issue on pit road there. He's backing up through a couple different stalls.
Yeah, looks like it's taking longer than normal. He's been down there for 50 laps now. So this will take him out of contention, so that's an unsuccessful stop, and we do see another driver heading down there. That is Greg Pillar, and he will be taking some fresh tires, so hopefully he does not suffer any issues on pit road and can quickly get back out there. So far, with the drivers that we've seen pit, nobody has really been able to take advantage of the strategy, and so yes, Greg Pillar is off onto the pits. He is the first driver on fresh tires. We see Adam Flieger is into the pits now, so some drivers towards the back of the pack heading in, trying to use this advantage to pit early and get some track position, but still nobody from the top 5 has made that left turn onto pit road. I'm sure it's all kind of like they're all watching each other, waiting to see who will be first. And we do have a battle for second. Steven Shu has been great on the long run. He's about to get by Trent Hill for the second place spot. He's gone from fourth all the way to second in a very short amount of time. He has had a second of tire fall, or 2 seconds of tire fall off for the lap times, but he's not really, compared to some of the other drivers, it's not as significant because, I mean, he looks really quick. He's flown by a lot of drivers, and now he's got his sights set on trying to reel in Christopher Barker for this first place spot. We see Ren Hasp down on pit road in the 38 machine. We'll see a little bit of damage on that truck, but yep, there's some tires getting taken. So we will, I do have a handy dandy graphic that I can get pulled up. But there is the pit strategy right there. You can kind of see what the stints are looking like. So right now, the best driver, or the highest running driver on fresh tires, is Greg Pillar. He is in that 12th place spot right now. There goes Dave Collins Sr. into the pits. Gonna get some fresh tires there.
I would really like to see this race go green to the end, just to see how these pit strategies play out. You mentioned about Greg Pillar running in that 12th place position. Him having, you know, the freshest set of tires. Although I believe he is a lap down. It looks like we only have 10 cars on the lead lap, but that is because of pit stops. That should equal itself out. As now these top 9 cars cycle through to their pit stops, everything will kind of fall into place. Maybe, you know I used to get worried when, you know, I'd be watching races on TV. I go, oh no, they're a lap down, you know, and then it would click with me. Oh wait, they're on green flag pit stops. It doesn't take long to get around this track, and until everything cycles through, until your leaders hit pit road, and everything gets back into the running order the way it should be. We'll see more trucks, you know, get their laps back and stuff. As now, as I say that, you know, the top 5 are the only ones that's on the lead lap, but that'll cycle back around, not to worry.
So we saw 2 front runners come in, Miles Williams and Teresa Speecher. Now Trent Hill is also coming into the pits, but as it cycles through right now, Miles Williams is your highest running driver with fresh tires. He was able to stay in the top 10. He currently runs in 6th. We see Jack Stanley is in, and there we go. Your leader, Christopher Barker, is into the pits. Steven Shu follows right behind him. So your leader, Christopher Barker, who has dominated this race, has been up front all race long. He is trying to have a successful pit stop, hoping for no issues. Dakota Shepard also into the pits. So the rest of the top 5 is going to come in. So we will see who will end up being the leader as it all cycles through. There's Williams heading onto the backstretch right now. Barker is still in his pit stall. I don't know if Williams can catch your leaders. Let's see. He's heading off of turn number 4 now. Barker just now leaving his pit stall. It's going to be close. Obviously, Williams has a full head of steam while Barker is going to need to build it up. Can he get Dakota Shepard off pit road? I mean, Miles Williams. There's Miles Williams off of 2. He sees Christopher Barker right up in front of him, and no, I don't think he's going to be able to catch him. Christopher Barker did his pit stop perfectly, and now he is finally up to speed, and he's got about a 7/10 gap over Miles Williams. And to add to that, he has got fresher tires because now Miles has had a few laps to run him in. So at this point, the main drivers that we're going to be watching is Christopher Barker, Steven Shu, and Trent Hill. They are all going to be on that same strategy. But Christopher Barker, I mean, I'm sure NASCAR fans, you may have a favorite driver. You may be worried whenever they head into the pits. I know as a Martin Truex Jr. fan, I dread pit stops because something always gets messed up. But Christopher Barker, his pit crew, tightened all the lug nuts perfectly. No mishaps at all. And he is running good in that first place spot.
Yeah, it's always good when you can get on and off pit road absolutely flawlessly. You had mentioned about being a Martin Truex Jr. fan. On the other side of that was the 48 team there, Jimmy Johnson's team. They always seem to be absolutely flawless on pit road. But taking a look at the running order here after things had kind of cycled through a little bit, Greg Pillar, who you had mentioned at one point was running in the 12th spot with the freshest tires. His tires are older than your leaders in the top 3, but he is running in the 4th spot.
But we are seeing the fresher tires start to cash them. There goes Teresa Speecher on the bottom trying to get by Greg. And we see that 70 machine is going to be able to do so. We see Trent Hill following behind. Hill able to get by, and now he is looking underneath the 70. Side by side, down the front stretch, we see Hill is able to get clear, and Trent Hill is up to that 4th place spot. Going to pull up the pit stop graphic, and currently we see right now Christopher Barker and Shu have the freshest tires. Williams and Speecher have a little bit older tires, and then Hill has fresher tires than Speecher and Williams, but not Shu and Barker. But still, regardless, everybody kind of came in at about the same time. It's just who can do the best job in not burning them up in these final 20 laps. We've got 20 laps to go in this one, and the win is in sight for Christopher Barker. A chance at the win is in sight for Miles Williams. Stephen Shu, Trent Hill, a little bit farther back. They would like to see a caution. And that's another thing we got to be on the watch for. I know you said you'd like to see it go green, but there is always a chance for a caution in a late race restart. That would really shake things up.
Indeed it would. There was a NASCAR announcer back in the day, I don't know if he's still doing it or not. He said this changes everything, and it really does. Are your leaders going to come in and grab those fresher tires? Are they going to stay out? Are you going to see the guys running just outside the top 5? You know, Pillar, Caps, Flieger, Collins,
we
those
got a wreck
guys
on the backstretch. Car on the inside wall. I happened to cut to it, and that's Dave Collins Sr. He's limping down the backstretch. No caution flag yet, and they will stay under green. Looks like that was Matthew Gall and somebody else. They were 3. That was the 52. They were all 3 wide, and we saw Collins Sr. end up hitting the inside wall. I'm sure that was a nerve-wracking moment for them as we almost saw that caution.
Yeah, I don't know if a couple of those trucks were, you know, back markers, if they were racing for position. I don't have eyes on that, but it's dicey. You're going to see guys start to make bold moves, you know, and like you said, 78 got a little loose, and it kind of almost spelled disaster for everybody.
Yeah, no, Rowan, you were right there next to Matt while he was involved in that. I mean, what did you see there?
He didn't wreck. I watched him pass the wreck, but that wasn't him. It was a big one.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to agree with that there. It was certainly a big hit to the inside wall for Dave Collins Sr., and you went
Now
from...
the yellow's out.
Oh, shoot, we got a caution, and I'm going to say it, this changes everything.
Yes.
Does anybody even have tires left?
Oh, my gosh, let's see here. And
Anybody that's had any sort of incidences probably does not.
I'm not quite sure what that yellow flag was. Hold on, I will... And we are... What in the world? So I am watching Brian Hennings heading off the corner. Oh, this was after the caution. My apologies there. Oh, there it is. I found it. Thank you to SDK iRacing Live Timing for helping me to find this incident. We've got Brian Hennings and West Wygand heading off of turn number 2. 2 drivers that have shown speed in this one, and Wygand just loses it off the corner and clips the front end of Hennings. They both almost get into Casey Ellis. Ellis able to get through, but Wygand hard into the inside wall. We see severe damage to the back bumper, and this changes everything because now we've got some drivers onto pit road, including your leader, Christopher Barker, Miles Williams, Steven Shu, while also we see some drivers staying out. So some differing strategies here as we head into this late race restart. This is going to be fun.
I'm watching.
gonna-
I'm watching
Go ahead.
Mr. Matt Gall right now, and he is just taking over the racing course
Yeah.
with speed.
Yeah, he is happy to see that because now, like you said, Matt Gall is able to take over and get to that second place spot. He was completely out of this race previously, did not look like he was going to be able to get back up to the front, but he's now in 7th and back in contention. So, I mean, there's got to be a smile on Matt Gall's face right now, knowing that he could still have a shot to win this one.
But I'm gonna drop back. You lead that guy.
But it's Derek. We did see, so we see different strategies. Some drivers stay out. So Derek Capps, Dakota Shepard, Clayton Doughty, and Jack Stanley, they all stay out while Miles Williams, Christopher Barker, Steven Shu, Trent Hill, all of them pit. Looks like Matt Gall is falling back a little bit. I'm interested. Not sure what's going on there, but he is heading to the rear despite getting some track position. We do see Clayton Doughty now coming into the pits, so that leaves just 3 drivers that are staying out. And, I mean, they've got a ton of laps on those tires now. I don't know how long they're going to be able to hold off these leaders. I mean, they should be able to quickly... Oh, I did notice something else. Miles Williams took only right side tires, while the rest of the drivers that pit took forward tires. So we're seeing kind of 3 strategies right now. We're seeing drivers that stayed out. We saw one driver take only 2 right side tires, and then the rest of the drivers take 4. So we've got drivers with different amount of handling levels, different speed levels. This will be interesting.
Yeah, I said it before. You might see that pit strategy coming in as far as what they're going to do for tires. Right sides, 4, maybe none. It's definitely going to be interesting, and we're going to maybe see here if Christopher Barker restarting looks like in that 5th position, if he can maybe capitalize, get back out front, get some of that clean air that he's been seeing all night, and put this in the bag, or, you know, if maybe some of these other guys will have some luck, you know, Capps, Shepard, Williams, Drew, who's been up front all night, Trent Hill, who's been doing good recently. A lot of names up front here have been holding steady, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, that caution is definitely not what Christopher Barker wanted to see. He had a pretty good run. He was starting to get away from the pack, and now this will completely shake things up, as now he has fallen all the way to 4th place after pit strategy has worked out. He's got 3 cars he needs to get by in order to get back to the lead. But the lights on the pace truck are off. We're getting ready to go back green. It's going to be Derek Capps and Dakota Shepard making up your front row. They're hoping that they can try to stay up front as long as possible in order to try to get the race win. So a win is about to be on the line. I mean, this is going to be crazy, Rowan. Again, we got Derek Capps, Dakota Shepard, both of them looking to try to secure what could be one of the biggest wins of their iRacing career. You know, this is a big race for a lot of people. We've got a lot of people tuned in here on Intensity Broadcasting. We have a lot of drivers in this one, people entering into it. So to call yourself the winner would certainly be quite the achievement. So there you go. Derek Capps, Dakota Shepard, make up your front row. It's Miles Williams, Christopher Barker, and Steven Shu running there in 5th. No tires, 2 tires, 4 tires. What strategy will work? We're about to find out in these final 11 laps. Pace car is in, and green flag is back into the air. There's Derek Capps up through the gears, leading the field down into 1 and 2. We see Miles Williams, good restart in that 2nd place spot. He looks underneath Capps as they head into 1 and 2, and the no tire strategy is already completely imploding. Both drivers who were your front row have fallen back through the field. Miles Williams gets into the, oh, we got a car into the inside wall. I don't know. Caution out yet. We stay green flag racing, but that was a hard hit. Miles Williams, I know, probably would not like to see a caution right now. He is trying to get away from the field on his 2 right side tires. 10 laps to go. Can Miles Williams, he's been sticking around the top 5 all race long. He took a gamble. He said, I'm all in. He only took 2 tires, and so far it's working out for him. He is leading the field, but he's got 2 drivers with 4 freshies right behind him, Stephen Shue and Christopher Barker. Both of them have done very well in this race and have looked very fast. Can they get the win?
I'm looking at all of these cars, and I'm realizing that with no caution flags out, they're not being nice anymore. They're trying to win now.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The gloves are off, and they are throwing punches at this point, trying to get any positions that they want. And if you have been saving, if you've been patient, yeah, that's out of the window. It's time to now fight hard for every single position, and that is what we're going to see right now. Miles Williams, he is your race leader. Stephen Shaw right behind him, looking low as they head through 1 and 2. There goes the 85 with 8 laps to go, trying to get to that left rear of the 17. There they are off of turn number 2. We see Shue is still there. We see Barker, Trent Hill trying to follow right behind him. Through 3 and 4, Williams is holding his own on the outside. Those fresh right side tires trying to grip up as much as they can. At 7 laps to go, Shue will lead, but Williams, he's hanging strong on the outside. I did not expect to see this for a driver that only took 2 tires.
Yeah, I've seen Williams hang strong on the outside earlier tonight when they were back. Ironically enough, he was battling with Shue for the 3rd spot. He actually made the pass on him on the outside. So is he familiar with that line? I think so. But the tires are going to be the ultimate shot caller here, if you will, and deciding what happens there. All these trucks, 1, 2, 3, 4, Shue, Williams, Barker, and Hill, all running up there, all looking to have a decent finish, and certainly all of them are looking to win outside of that decent finish. It's going to be interesting as we're looking at 5 to go here this time by.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be one of those races where the gap for the win is extremely big. In fact, we're in photo finish territory if somebody makes the move at the right time. So right now, Stephen Shue, he leads, but there goes Christopher Barker underneath Williams as they head into 1 and 2. Barker has been no doubt the fastest truck on the racetrack all race long. He's got 5 laps to try to get to that 85, and the first step is getting by Williams, who once again is giving him a hard time on that outside lane. He's making it work. He's holding his own. But Barker, like Rowan said, the aggression levels have really increased right now, and he wants to get by him quick. He's able to do so. He gets clear now. Christopher Barker up to that 7th place position. We've got 4 laps to go now. Trent Hill is trying to get by Williams now for the 3rd place spot. Now we look to Barker, Shue, the battle for the race lead. 4 laps to go in this one. Shue and Barker have been your top 3 for most of this race, although the order has been reversed. Barker wants to try to reverse that order once again and get by this 85. He's got 3 laps to do so.
3 laps to make it happen as your top 4 are off into turn 1 after navigating that sometimes slick front straightaway as Williams bounces off the wall in 2. Those 2 tires may be coming into play. That's going to open up a significant gap to your top 3.
Yeah, this is now a 3-horse race. I think the tires are starting to wear for Williams, and it's getting harder to handle. So he may still be able to salvage a top 5, but maybe not the win that he had hoped for. So 2 laps to go now. Stephen Shue, Christopher Barker, and Trent Hill all still right there in contention for this win. Is somebody going to take a big swing at the baseball? We're going to have to find out. There's Christopher Barker down through 3 and 4, heading to the white flag. He looks high, he looks low, trying to find any sort of gap to send it and get by this 85, and he's having to play defense as he's got Trent Hill right behind him. White flag is in the air. 1 more lap to go. There's Barker sending it underneath Shue as they head through 1 and 2. Can't quite get there, so he's got to try to make something happen down the backstretch. A win is in car. Truck number 46's grasp, but can he get it? 2 Toyotas into 3 and 4. Shu, Barker. What can Christopher Barker do off of the corner? I don't know. He's not going to be able to get to Steven Shu. He wins the Rowan Maurer 210 here at Texas Motor Speedway. Christopher Barker brings it home in second. He was able to hold off Trent Hill, who finished third. Miles Williams hangs on with those 2 tires. He finishes fourth. And Teresa Speecher finishes in that 5th place position. Wow. What an exciting race. I mean, Rowan, you were completely right. All these drivers, they were aggressive, they fought hard, and what a way to finish it.
I know Rowan had some fun in the booth, so
Yes, sir, for sure.
had a good time. Thank you all very much.
Well, there we go. What a way to finish this one. I had fun calling that. I know it was probably fun watching that for all of you watching here on Intensity Broadcasting, but we've got your top 3 parking it on the front stretch. We're definitely going to make sure to talk to all of them to discuss their race. We'll go from 3rd to 1st here with the driver interviews. But first, one of my favorite parts of racing, the burnout. Steven Shu giving us a spectacular one as those rear tires are smoking.
They're not worried about tires anymore, are they?
No, the anxiety of that is gone. They can finally destroy them freely now, because I'm sure they were worried about that all race long, all throughout these 140 laps. And I'm sure when we talk to all of these drivers here with the driver interviews, one of the main talking points is definitely going to be tires. But Steven Shu, Christopher Barker, Trent Hill, your top 3. I'll go ahead and pull up your race results here so you can see exactly where your favorite driver finished here in this race.
It just paused on me, and I was like, "Oh shoot!" And then by the time you came back live,
There we go. Again, you can see your top 18 right there. So many movers and shakers throughout this race. So we'll go ahead and get started here with our driver interviews. We've got some people here in the broadcast booth. Looks like that's Trent Hill, your 3rd place finisher. Trent, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, great run here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway, bringing it home on the podium. I know there was a lot of craziness there through those last few laps, a lot of pit strategy. You were one of the drivers that came in, took 4 tires, had a good restart. You were right there with your top 3 all throughout this race. Thought you were maybe going to try to make a move on Christopher there on the last lap, but not quite able to do so. So just, walk us through this one. It was a long one here at Texas Motor Speedway, a war of attrition, saw some green flag pit stops.
Yeah, that green flag pit stop at the end, that was a pretty good strategy. I just kind of followed everybody else, top 3. Everybody raced pretty clean, pretty well up top, so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely looked like a lot of fun out there. Did notice a lot of drivers were really skating off of turn number 2, especially with those cold tires. I mean, what was the best way to deal with those tires for those first few laps on a new run?
Cold tires, I just kept half throttle through 1 and 2, and then 3/4 to full 3 and 4, and that helped.
Yeah.
About lap 1 or 2 in, you're good to go.
Driver price has been off.
Got you. Oh, go ahead.
Brother.
Well, again, before we let you go, Trent, is there any sponsors or shout-outs?
Yeah, I want to thank Trevor Pendergrass with 9th House Creations for doing the paint scheme. Then I got SM Racing Products, W Energy, Toys for Tots on the next charity race. We also got Keep Digging. I stream live on TikTok all the time. I've got a link in my bio for all the sponsors and stuff. So I appreciate everybody. Thank y'all for hosting this, and this is for Rowan for sure.
Awesome. Well, again, congrats on the podium tonight, Trent. Have a great night.
Thanks.
Well, there you go. That was Trent Hill, your 3rd place finisher. I see him sitting in general. Let's talk to your 2nd place finisher out of North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, Christopher Barker. Hey, Chris, is that in the broadcast booth? You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, bringing it home in that runner-up spot. I know that was maybe not the finish you wanted after, you led a lot of this race, hit the pitch strategy perfectly, and then I know we saw that caution flag came out. Didn't exactly have the track position that you wanted on that final restart. I mean, just walk us through that one and just, what maybe you could have done to finish one spot more.
Race my teammate a little harder, I guess. I had him in front of me. We don't race each other hard. If we can get 1 and 2, that's fine with us. We're just trying to stay together and work together. I guess I can't think of his name there. I guess he only took rights there on the pit, so he beat us out. I had to fight around him, and that's racing, man. It happens that way sometimes. I was praying for it to stay green, but it is what it is. It was a fun race overall, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the unique thing about these long races is that there's always so much strategy that comes into play. I mean, how did your strategy evolve throughout this one? I know we saw a lot of inopportune cautions.
Yeah. Honestly, it didn't change much. We were trying to stretch. We wanted to stretch the tires as far as we could. That was the plan. We didn't want to be short pitting. And it worked out pretty good, to be honest. Most of the cautions come out pretty late. So I practiced a lot for this track this week for a Wednesday night league race. I didn't get to run it, so I was happy to get in here and do this one. And I had a line in mind, and it worked out. Sometimes it doesn't. You go in there and you run a bunch of lines, and trying to figure out where do I save, what feels good later on old tires, and then you get into the race, and it's just all wrong. And tonight it just worked out, man. I tried to hit the same marks all night. And it was working. I was stretching them out there after we went green for a while, but that's racing, man. Like I said, I got to thank my teammate, Steven. We work together better than anybody. I was happy to see him get it, man. And I want to give a shout out to Rowan. Keep fighting, buddy. You're in everybody's thoughts and prayers. I know this ain't live right now. I'm hoping this guy will go back and rewatch it. I want to give a shout out to James Wagoner if he's watching.
Awesome. Well, again, congratulations on the runner-up finish tonight. And have a great rest of your night.
All right. Thank you, sir. You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now let's pull in your winner, also from North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, getting it done. It's Steven Shue. Steven, Atlee in the broadcast booth, you got a copy?
10-4, I got you, brother.
Awesome. Well, heck of a race for you here tonight, coming in clutch when it mattered most. I know you were kind of running that runner-up spot for a lot of this race, just lurking right around that top 3. Got through the pitch strategy, and you were kind of on the same strategy as Chris, but couldn't quite get up to them, and then bang, everything changed when that caution flag came out. Whole field got stacked back together, and you were just able to work through the drivers that, took 2 tires or took no tires very quickly, got out towards the lead, and just Chris was not able to get by you, able to hold them off and bring home the win. So, I mean, just walk us through what was going through your head, those last few laps as the win was just so close in your grasp.
Like Chris said there, we don't race teammates. Chris led, I will say, 99% of that race. He was the man to beat. He practiced hard. We had a league race back on Wednesday, truck series. I'm a lineman, so I don't get to put in a lot of practice. Chris is one of my teammates. He does 90%. I mean, of all the practicing, the testing and tuning, he finds the lines, the grooves, the strategy for us. I mean, he's really that guy. I'm the guy that pay attention to the rules, and I keep everybody, on point. Make sure we're pitting at the correct time, making sure we're paying attention to where we're at. Paying attention to what's going on around us. That's my job, to listen to race control and make sure that everybody's doing what we discussed well before the race. But that right there was for Chris to win. I mean, if he wanted to, he had me. But we've got a deal. Whoever gets out front towards the end, we don't fight each other in our team.
I mean, that's definitely team racing at its finest there. Definitely the strategy changed throughout this one. We saw some green flag pit stops, saw some cautions, but we said our main thing that we were saying all race long was just saving those tires. I mean, what was the key to saving tires for you tonight?
I will say that we didn't get any green flag caution or pit stops. We didn't get a one. That's what we were strategizing for. We was really going to put some distance on the rest of the field if we'd have got some green flags. You know, I know some guys got to pit under green, and I hate it for them because it kind of put them a lap down. It hurt them. But our main strategy was letting out early, getting to the bottom, staying out of the gas, being real methodical about, you know, getting back on the gas, trying not to roll that right rear tire over and kind of really steering it out to the wall. And, you know, trying to keep pace, but also, you know, save all you can. And anytime anybody got up with us, I know at one point I was back to fourth, you know, and in our team strategy, I mean, whoever's in the back, you know, we don't block drivers. That's not in our league. It's against league rules. It's against the way Team Foothills actually races. But I will race them a little harder, you know, to bring their tire wear down so the guy out front can, you know, keep saving.
I got you. Well, before I let you go, is there any sponsors or shout-outs for your win?
Oh, definitely gotta give some shout out to some sponsors. If you look across the hood of my car, Wagner's Welding. That's Jamie Wagner. He made a pretty good donation tonight. He's actually one that was supposed to be, you know, taking care of some stuff tonight. He sponsors me race in, race out. Doesn't matter if I'm running Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, you know, in our leagues and stuff. He's a big help to Foothills, and you know he's the main sponsor for Roughneck Racing over there. He takes care of Team Foothills. We got 4 drivers, so I got to give them a shout out. You know, Chris Barker there, that race was for him. You know, he had that in the bag. You know, definitely got to give another teammate, Jeffrey Ledford, and the one and only Dr. Phil. Uh, you know, we tried to get them in here tonight, just didn't work out in the plans. And the biggest one is to Rowan. You know, man, don't stop the good fight. You know, you've got this, brother. Don't never give up. You know, there's always tomorrow.
Thank you.
Oh, man, thank you so much for the interview here tonight, Steven, and definitely got to thank you so much for, you know, being a part of this race, and I'm sure it definitely feels great to bring it home in victory lane. So congratulations on the win. Have a great rest of your night.
Hey, thank you, and appreciate all that you do. Rowan, you're in my prayers, brother.
Well, there you go. That was Steven Shue, your race winner. Put on a heck of a race there to close things out. But again, definitely got to thank everybody who raced tonight. I mean, their contribution to what we were doing tonight was definitely greatly appreciated, and they sure put on a heck of a show. So, Rowan, buddy, thank you so much for joining us here in the broadcast booth tonight. I mean, do you have any final thoughts about that race we just saw?
Sorry, I muted myself. I think that was really cool to watch. I don't think there's much other to say. It was awesome.
Yeah, awesome is definitely the word of the night. And of course, definitely we're happy to have Marcus Babb joining us here in the broadcast booth. I mean, Marcus, any final thoughts from that one?
It turned out exactly the way I thought it was going to turn out. With the exception of me wanting the green flag finish, but you know, hey, it is what it is. At the end of the day, we're all here for Rowan. It was a good race with a good broadcast crew, good group of drivers, you know, all for a good cause. And I'm happy to be a part of it. I thank you for giving me the opportunity to step back into the announcing booth after quite some time. And I'm beside myself. This is an awesome way to get back into this.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, and I second what everybody said. I know tonight was all about racing for Rowan, and again, you see that Venmo in the top right of your screen. All money you donate to that's going to go directly to Rowan and his family, and your donation of any amount will make a real difference. But before we start doing our closing stuff, again, Rowan, I want to thank you so much for being in the broadcast. You know, you're definitely in everyone's thoughts and prayers, and, you know, definitely keep fighting, buddy.
Yes, sir. I will. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch tonight. And lastly, I got to give a big thank you to our race sponsors, James Wagoner's Welding and Mag Real Estate. Thank you to them for all that they do to help put on this amazing, amazing race. Turned out awesome, so thank you to them. They helped with some of the stuff with the 50-50 raffle as well, so that was really cool to see. But I want to thank everyone so much for tuning in to watch tonight here on Intensity Broadcasting. I'm sorry we had some technical difficulties earlier, but we got the stream fixed and we were able to get the final few laps. We got to see that great battle at the end. We got to see majority of the race. So thank you to everyone for being patient and for continuing to stay tuned in. Want to give a big thank you to all of you. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to Intensity Broadcasting on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, as that'd be greatly appreciated. We're trying to reach our goals of 2,500 followers on Facebook, 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, 1,000 followers on Twitch. Check out our Twitter page, Intensity Broad 1. We're always dropping polls and interacting with our viewers on there. And check out our web store at intensitybroadcasting.com. There we've got all of our Intensity Broadcasting merchandise, and we also offer custom printing for your race team, your business, or an event that you're having. We'd be happy to make shirts, hoodies, hats, anything you would like for you. Well, again, it has been a great Rowan Maurer 210 here at Texas Motor Speedway. I'm Atlee Atman-Least on behalf of the entire Intensity Broadcasting team. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.